Hello everybody, this is HG Shaves here. I'm back with another video. I hope this finds you well. Today I thought I would do just a kind of general overview of the Gem Everready 1912 razors, which are quite possibly the most produced, well, gem razor of all time. You know, I think they made these in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions. Millions might be pushing it, but they made them in several different countries, and they're a great razor for beginning gem shavers and experienced gem shavers. It's good for both of them, really. So today, the particular one I'm going to be showing you is a Gem 1912, which was made in England. It's a standard case, kind of like this. They made the same exact case for an Everready razor made in England, and also there were a few later model gems made here in the US with that same bakelite case. On the back of the razor, it says Gem made in England. As far as I know, the Gem English razors were only sold in Australia because in England, they sold the same razor, but it said Everready in the back. But otherwise, they're the exact same razor. This particular one has the chain link, or some of us like to call it the Art Deco handle. And it's got this kind of interesting looking head design. And there were just several different models of basically the same razor. To load the razor, because I don't show this often enough, you pull on the back spring, and then when they open up on the inside, it says Gem British made on the inside. And then we're going to grab our stainless PTFE blade here, which I think this is on its 8th or 9th use, and you carefully drop it into the blade tray, which I am carefully doing, and come on. There we go. So you make sure it's behind these two blade posts here, and then once you do that, you just snap it over the top, and then it holds the blade in firmly. Again, just double check to make sure that the blade is behind the stops. Okay, so that's our razor. We'll talk more about that as we use it. And today's shave, I'd like to give a shout out to Tim, my friend Tim. He helped me find this razor and send it my way, so thank you very much, Tim. And he also sent me a sample of Whispers from the Woods Hippie Blend soap. So Whisper from the Woods is a Australian artisan soap maker, and this is the Hippie's blend. So it's got patchouli, lang lang, jasmine. Got it smushed into my bowl here. Yeah, the patchouli is pretty strong, and then there are some floral notes. I guess I could see how this is maybe associated with hippies. I know that the patchouli in particular is something that people associate with hippies. I never really knew that, but anyway, the things you learn, right? So this is a vegan soap as far as I know, you know, kind of the usual coconut oil sort of deal. Never used this soap before. I've got my Declaration Grooming B3 24 millimeter because I got a couple days growth here and like to get a little scrub going. And so I'm just going to start loading the soap here just to see how it goes. Generally with these high coconut oil soaps, they can get a little kind of airy and frothy initially. And so I'm going to be doing my best to see if I can't prevent that from happening by just simply working the soap more and, well, yeah, just giving it the time that it needs. And it looks like we may have started with a bit too much water in the brush here, but we'll see if this can be recovered, so to speak. So yeah, this is a little bit of a Australian theme today, and yeah, I've been looking forward to doing this one for a while, and also a chance to, you know, talk about the 1912 models, which I don't think I've done a proper video on them yet. I mean, I've used them certainly, but they're just terrific razors, and they deserve their own spot, so to speak. Okay, we're gonna see if this is gonna work. I'm not totally convinced, but we'll see, maybe. because it's so, I think we're just gonna go straight in, see how it does. Got soap coming off the sides here. All right, we're all lathered up here for the first pass. I did start with a little bit too much water, but it seems like it's staying together. So if even it's a little too wet, that's okay. So we're gonna go with the GM 1912 here, made in England. And yeah, so for this razor, compared to a DE, of course, you wanna tend to ride the cap a little bit more, but doesn't mean you have to be completely flat. You just kind of go until you think you found the angle, and that feels to be the right one to me. So one of the reasons why, well, a couple of the reasons why I frequently recommend a 1912 to somebody who wants to try out a gym for the first time is that, number one, they're so commonly available in several countries. And beyond that, they're super cheap too, right? Like, I see very commonly these razors selling for, you know, 10 of whatever currency you may be looking in, because they do pop up often, of course, here in the US, in England, and in Australia too, like with this razor. I think I paid 10 Australian dollars for it, which is less than 10 USD. And so another reason why I like to start with these razors for people is that it's kind of in the middle in terms of aggression for gem razors. You can get something that's more aggressive than this, but you can also get something that's milder. So start people in the middle, see what they think, assess if their technique is any good, and then you can tell them we'll go milder or go more aggressive with it. I'm also have a little personal bias toward the 1912s. Because it was the first one that I started with. I started with the Gem Junior, not the lather catcher, but the later Gem Junior, which was very commonly found here in the US. My point being, if I can figure it out on the first go, you probably can too, because I don't think I have the most excellent razor technique. All right, first pass done. Certainly some good blade feel with this razor, but it's not, I still wouldn't call it an aggressive razor, you know. You can feel the blade, but it's in control, and if you maintain your technique, you'll be just fine. All right, so I'm gonna rinse and then bring it back in for our second pass. So because my lather is a little too wet, I went ahead and actually dried my face a little bit in between the pass there, and we'll see if this can kind of help the consistency. All right, we're in a little bit of a hurry today, so we're gonna only just do 2 passes today, maybe 2 in that touch up under the nose, because that can be a little tricky. So this will be second pass, across and against the grain. Some people get a little turned off by the cutting sound of these razors, particularly the 1912s. And I would encourage those people just to think of it as like butter going onto toast, you know? Think about it as something else. I can see where it might not be as nice sounding. I believe it was Sugar Daddy Shaves who did a video with this razor, and he was talking about, well, he speculated that maybe the reason why these razors are so loud is because there's this huge gap under the head. You know, if the handle came up totally flush, there wouldn't be as much room for the sound to bounce around. You might have a point. What else to say about these razors? Oh, kind of a cool thing that I learned about recently was, I believe I said in the video where I talked about the Ever-Ready Streamline, that razor, I mentioned how maybe it was the only chromium razor that they made, and that's not totally true. Because I've seen made in the USA versions of the razor like this instead of nickel, because I believe this to be nickel. I've seen it with chromium and it's much brighter. So what I meant to say is you can get a razor just like this that's a chromium made for a little bit more, but it's not going to be as much as a Streamline. I'm just going to come back and do that as a touch-up here at the end. Some people like to just go across and then maybe up so they don't have to deal with that, but I've tried that a couple times and just don't like starting off going across under the mustache for some reason. Let's go ahead and do that touch up under the nose. I guess we'll go south to north. Let me check in and see how I did. Better. Now I'm going to feel around and just see if I need to do any general touch-ups. Not too much. Again, I was working off 2 days growth, and in 2 passes, I did a reasonably good job. Good, nice shave. I'm gonna rinse, put on some aftershave, and then I'll come back and give you a recap. All right, we're back. We use a little Zingari Unscented Balm for our aftershave today, which is just my go-to when I don't know what to use, just go for that. To recap, we used Whisper the Woods Hippie blend, and I don't know, maybe this is what hippies like to smell like. Any of the real hippies watching this, let me know what you think. Do you associate your aura with patchouli, ylang ylang, jasmine? It's, you know, it's like floral with a little bit of interest in there. It's not bad at all. And also, I started with too much water in the brush, not enough soap in the bowl, and the lather didn't totally fall apart. It wasn't ideal, but it wasn't bad either. So I give a thumbs up to the soap performance in that way. And then the Gem 1912. So I encourage all of you to go out, try one of these. The main thing is, do my PSA here, you gotta make sure that it's got both the blade stops still intact. If you don't have a blade stop, it's not safe to use. And then if, you know, you're in person for some reason because you're at a flea market and you can test out different ones, you can kind of check the spring. You know, how resistant is it to you pulling on it? If it's very resistant, that means that it's got a strong spring, and in theory, it may hold the blade down better. I don't know if I totally buy that because I have some razors that the spring is not as firm as this one, and it still shaves fine. So who knows? But that is something to look out for. I think that's gonna do it for today. Quick little video, hopefully, and just talking about the very important 1912 razor in the Gem Ever Ready history, and also try a new soap to me. So that was very cool. Thank you all so much. If you made it this far, as always, let me know if you have any questions. And this has been HG Saves. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.